Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby, and it's that time of week once again. It's time for my preview and my predictions for game week 3 of the United Rugby Championship. The competition has seen 2 previous rounds and some fantastic rugby being played. Lots of big games this weekend to go through. As always, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you're new to the channel. Leave a like on the video and get your predictions in the comments down below for your chance to be part of the review show on Sunday night. This week, we have a very special guest, Stephen Somerville from Stephen Somerville Irish Rugby. He is also going to give his predictions for each of the games. But without further ado, let's get straight in. So kicking off on Friday night, we have the Ospreys hosting the Scarlets Sharks. Ospreys last time out got a great win against Cardiff Rugby in the Welsh derby. Gareth Anscombe kicking all the points for the home team. While the Sharks, it was a very different story, losing up in Scotland against the Glasgow Warriors, and they're still looking for their first victory of the new campaign. Now, both teams have announced their sides, so let's go through them now, starting with the Ospreys. This is how the Ospreys line up this weekend. Starting at fullback, Dan Evans starts at fullback with Matt Prothero and Luke Morgan on the wings. Owen Watkin and Tian Thomas Wheeler playing the centres, with Gareth Davis and Rhys Webb at 10 and 9 respectively. In the front row, Nicky Smith, Sam Parry and Thomas Francis, with Adam Beard and returning Alan Wynne-Jones in the locks. Will Griffiths is at 6 with Jack Morgan at 7 and Morgan Morris plays at 8. Starting at fullback then, we have Anthony Volmink, Marnus Potskiertier and Thakir Abrahams player on the wings, with Marius Lowe and Jeremy Ward in the centres. At 10 then we have Bota Chamberlain, and 9 we have the experienced Ruan Pienaar. Heading to the front row then we have Ntuthuku Munchunu, Kevin Van Vuren, Thomas de Troyes, Ruben Van Hebden and Hyven Andrews are the locks, with James Venter, Gebrandot Grobler at 6 and 7, with Henko Venter at 8. So how do I personally see this one going? Well, as an Ospreys fan, I am going to back us to win. I think the Sharks have shown some promise throughout the competition so far, but I still feel they're a little bit away from where they need to be. They're still waiting for the likes of Lucanio Am and Sia Khaleesi to come back from the Springbok setup. And I do feel with Anscombe at 10 controlling the game, the leadership of Alan Wynne, I think this is going to be a home victory. But over to Stephen. Stephen, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, but the way I see this game going, I do think I would see this game going towards the Ospreys more, just by a few points. I think the Chelsea Sharks, when they went to Fulham Park not that long ago, they kind of got battered by Munster, and yes, they've got South African players to come back on their side, but I think it's going to take a bit of time for them to get gels this league. But we've seen with the Cheetahs and the Southern Kings, we don't want to, in another situation like that, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm going to lean towards the Ospreys in this one, and I'm going to say by 4 points to the Ospreys.
The next game on the Friday night sees Ulster hosting Bennett. On both teams come into this of wins. Ulster last week beat Zebra fairly comfortably away from home, while Benetton got a dramatic last-minute win against Edinburgh, drop goal in the 85th minute to win that game. Ulster and Benetton have both announced their sides. Let's take a look. Now, this is how Ulster line up. They have gone with Will Addison at fullback. On the wings, they have Ethan McElroy and Craig Gilroy, with Stuart Moore and James Hume in the centre. At 10, Billy Burns plays alongside Nathan Doak at 9. In the front row, Andrew Warwick, Rob Herring and Tom O'Toole, with Alan O'Connor and Sam Carter in the locks. Matty Ree, Nick Timoney and David McCann complete the forwards. Let's take a look at how Benetton line up. This is how they have decided to go. Rhino Smith plays at fullback, with Ratuva Taravara and Lucas Sperandio on the wings. Marco Zanon and Tommaso Benvenuti play in the centres. Leonardo Marin and Callum Brayley play at 10 and 9. In the front row, then, we have Federico Zani and Cornel Els alongside Ivan Nemeth. In the locks, we have Ern Herbst. We have Federico Rutzer. And the back row, then, is Giovanni Pettinile, Michel Lamaro's the captain, and the ever-impressive Bram Stein. So how do I see this one going? Well, you've got to say, on paper, you look at the teams and you would back Ulster to get the win. And the fact that they're at home could have a big part to play in this fixture. But I've been really impressed by Benetton, their resilience. They've come back in a lot of games, first of all against the Stormers and then against Edinburgh. But there's no denying that Ulster is a step above. So I'm going to back Ulster to get the win here, a fairly comfortable win. But what does Stephen think? Stephen's an Ulster fan, but what does he have to say about this one?
As a good Ulster man, when it comes to home records, I know last season I think we lost a few games at home, but yes, the record was gone. But I think with fans in that stadium at Ravenhill, it just adds something different, just having someone else to how we play it, and that's what's good about the Ulster crowd. I mean, especially when I'm there as a season ticket holder, going back to the games again. There's just this buzz around the rugby community that you're gonna get this sort of buzz back, and the team's gonna help us. So I see us getting the job done. But I see this being another tight game, for being honest with you. I think Bennett are going to come to Belfast on Friday, and they're going to get a game plan going against us. That's going to frustrate us at times. I see this one, and I think Bennett are going to give us a game, and I think Ulster are just going to slightly nick it again by, I think, 3 points to Ulsterman.
Heading into the Saturday fixtures then, first of all, we have Leinster taking on Zebre. Leinster last week, only just about on the Sunday, managed to beat the Dragons at Rodney Parade. Well, as we just alluded to, Zebre were pummeled at home by Ulster. So both teams looking for a little bit of form. Zebre looking for their first win of the season. I'm not going to dwell too much on this one. The teams have not yet been announced due to this going out on a Thursday night. But you've got to back Leinster to win this one. I mean, the scoreline could really be anything. It depends how strong the coach wants to go with this one. He might want to rotate a little bit, but I don't see the point in him doing that because most of the Irish lads are going to be going pretty soon anyway for the autumn internationals. For Zebre, they've just got to try and stay in the game, and they cannot start as slowly as they have in the past few games, going miles behind against the Lions, who have been pretty poor already, and then last week, of course, against Ulster. I've got to back Leinster to win this one by 40 to 50 points. But what does Stephen have to say? Let's hear his views.
I think it's not going to be a good weekend for Zebre in Dublin, and I'm going to go for Leicester 50-point win. Maybe I think Leicester will want to improve on their performance last week against the Dragons, especially. So that's the score. I'm definitely going for Leicester 50-point win.
The next game then sees Glasgow Warriors take on the Emirates Lions. Glasgow Warriors, of course, last week got a very good win against the South Sea Sharks, while the Lions fell to defeat on the Friday night against Scarlets. So the Lions have got one win under their belt. Glasgow have got one win under their belt. I think the Lions, though, are going to struggle in this one. I've not been particularly impressed by them. And it feels like a lot of the South African teams tend to run out of a little bit of steam throughout games. It seems that they get to a point in the game and they just can't give any more. And the errors start coming in, the ill discipline starts coming in, the mistakes start to come in. Glasgow, on the other hand, have been building slowly throughout these first couple of weeks. And I think with Ross Thompson at 10 playing very well, it's just going to be a very difficult day for the Lions. I'm going to back Glasgow to win this one fairly comfortably. I think it's going to be a 20-point win for Glasgow. Do let me know in the comments down below your predictions so far. Let's head over now to our guest, Stephen, to hear his thoughts.
I see this game against the Lions, I think I see a comfortable Glasgow win. I think the Lions have, yes, they beat the Lions to be separate, but the Lions, the South African Lions, went to Scarlets last week and again got a bit of a battering from Austria. I think I see the Lions kind of struggling this year in Austria, so they're going to have to improve massively. But there's only one way I see this going. I think it's going to be Glasgow 30 points, and I think I'm going to go with Lions 12 points.
The tea time kickoff on the Friday night sees Connacht take on the Dragons. Connacht last week got a really good win against the Blue Bulls. Although conceding in the first minute, they came back and won pretty impressively in the end. Well, the Dragons put up a really resolute performance against Leinster, unfortunately falling short at the end, but they may have felt like they could have won that game. Coming into this game, though, it's all about Connacht for me. I think the Dragons have this ability to keep it tight, to play decent rugby, but the little mistakes creeps in. They couldn't win their line out last week. They were getting penalties at the breakdown, after penalty, mistakes at the scrum. And if your set piece isn't solid and that doesn't give you the platform to play, then you're always going to struggle. Connacht, on the other hand, started slow, but they got into their stride. And Jack Carty at 10 is a wonderful goal kicker. Porch on the wing can create something out of nothing. Bundyaki may even be back for this one. If I'm being totally honest, I can only see this one going one way. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons were to put up a fight. But I'm going to back Connacht to get the win in this one. Let's hear what Stephen's got to say and what are his predictions for this game.
I think when Connacht faced the Bulls last week, it was kind of they went down by 7 points to the Bulls, but I think Gavin Connacht eventually gradually got into that game because I think the Bulls again, like against Leicester, like against Connacht, the Bulls. I'm sure we get onto the Bulls, but the Connacht were just on their A game against the Bulls. You know what I mean? Very comfortable performance at the sports ground. Now the Dragons will be coming to town. I see a very very tight game again. But I do think Connacht will get over the line in this one. I just don't see how. Yes, the Dragons did well last week, but for me, I don't see how they can keep that consistency going forward, especially if you're going to, nearly a good supporters in the sports ground. I mean, the Connacht fans are absolutely passionate when it comes to being at the sports ground. So I think Dragons will find it difficult on Friday. So I'm going to go for a 20-10 Connacht win.
Edinburgh will be looking to bounce back after defeat last week. They take on the Stormers up in Scotland. Last week, of course, they lost against Bennett in dramatic style with that drop kick. And they'll be looking to bounce back in this one. The Stormers had a really tough night at Thomond Park, didn't they? Again, absolutely hammered by Munster. Once again, they took an early lead, 18 points to 0 at half-time, but they couldn't keep it going into the second half as Munster woke up and finally started to play. It's a tough one to call this one because you feel as if the Stormers' confidence is really going to be low. Also, they'll be aware, look, we can get into the lead. We can do good stuff, but we just seem to run out of steam towards the end of the game. And I think if Edinburgh can keep it tight and they keep it fairly competitive in the first half, then I think this is Edinburgh's game to lose. But I'm intrigued to see what the Stormers can do against, no disrespect to Edinburgh, a bit of a lesser opposition than that of Munster. But I am going to back the home team to get their second win of the campaign. So keep an eye on Ben Vellacott at scrum half for Edinburgh, who's been absolutely electric so far. But Edinburgh to win. Stephen, what have you got to say on this one?
I don't know. I think I'm leaning slightly towards the Stormers in this one because I know yes, Edinburgh have got some quality players from in their team, but I think Edinburgh have been off form lately. I see this as a game where Stormers they'll look on their previous results when they've taken the lead but they've blown it. I think the Stormers will definitely see this as a wake up call to not to sort of go at this Edinburgh's side this time and not actually concede silly tries from them not to lose the game. So I'm gonna go on the Divis here. I'm gonna go for a Stormers win.
The final game then on the Saturday sees Cardiff Rugby host the Bulls. Cardiff Rugby last week lost against Ospreys in the Welsh derby, while the Blue Bulls lost once again, this time against Connacht. They've had a very, very tough start to this competition. Cardiff have a lot of fantastic players in the back line. You cannot deny that. The likes of Halaholo, Ray Lilo, Hallam, Amos even, there's absolute abundance of talent there. It's whether they can get it clicking together. Can they get the platform to go and play? Although they did score 2 tries against the Ospreys, the game management of the Ospreys was enough to see the win. But we saw on the opening weekend, when the Blues get it right, like they did against Connacht, they can really create some special things. The Blue Bulls, let's be honest, have really not got going in this competition. Getting hammered at home, away from home, against Leicester, and then losing pretty heavily at Connacht. With the game being down at the Cardiff Arms Park on a Saturday night, the place will be bouncing. And I expect another home win. It's going to be a tough old campaign for the Blue Bulls and for the South African teams in general as they learn to adapt to this style of rugby and a different place to play. I'm going to back Cardiff Rugby to get this win and get a bonus point win. But what does Stephen have to say on this one?
Yes, I think Cardiff are going to beat the Bulls at home. I think the Bulls have been also been very poor lately. When the likes of Connacht, the likes of Leicester again battered all over the place. You know what I mean? Bulls will have to improve massively, but the way they're playing, I don't see them improving at the moment. I think Cardiff have got the home advantage, and the players that got from the Blues, I'm pretty sure they'll just about get a line. So I'm going to go for a 20 points to 9 victory for the Cardiff Blues. The
final game then of the weekend sees Scarlets take on Munster. Scarlets, of course, got a very impressive win against the Emirates Lions at home, and they'll be looking to repeat that win as they play at home once again. Munster had a shambolic first half against the Stormers, but in the end came back and won pretty comprehensively, and they've looked pretty good so far. For the Scarlets, couple of things. One, they play brilliant attacking rugby, heads up rugby, absolutely. but the communication isn't always there. We saw that in the Edinburgh game where they're penalised so many times for offsides, for penalties and infringements at the breakdowns. That was something that I've got to get right. If you can give structure to this Munster team, they will punish you, with their driving more being a huge factor. Simon Zebo's come back and has looked fantastic. Joey Carberry at 10 is brilliant. Craig Casey's a live wire at 9. It's going to be a very difficult afternoon for Scarlets. But I think this is going to be a pretty close game, and I'm going to go against the popular belief. I'm going to back Scarlets to get a win in this one. I think Dwayne Peel will get his second win for Scarlets. And as ever, let's hear the thoughts of Stephen on this one.
I think Munster have got a point to prove away to Scarlets, and I think I see them losing eventually, but I don't think it'll come this game. I think Munster will have the depth that they need to get over the line this one. So I think Scarlets will come eventually, but I think Scarlets have done well so far. I think its lines show great promises to improve. But I think I only see Munster just about getting over the line this one. I'm going to go for a 15 points to 10 win for the Munster.
So there we go. Those are my predictions for this weekend's games in the URC. Don't forget to get your predictions in the comments down below. We'll be doing our review show on Sunday night for your chance to appear in that. So get them down below. Leave a like on the video. And, of course, subscribe. And don't forget to check out Stephen's channel. There'll be a link in the description down below. Make some great content. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rugby over the weekend. And I'll see you Sunday night.